Well, good morning, good morning. Let's see that we are up on Facebook. Here's the Casper. He wants to say hi. He sees it right away. We're about to gong ourselves into Coffee with Casper in about 1 minute. We're glad you're here this morning. And we're just a bunch of gathering light workers to see how we might use what we know to not only make our lives better, but to help increase the general vibration on the planet, and therefore help raise everybody up to a new level of awareness. So we're all working together to fill our life's purpose, and part of our life's purpose is clearly to be here in a time of dramatic change in human awareness. And so we're glad you're here with us today and part of all of this excitement. All right, Casper, you're going to get down. We're going to gong ourselves in 1 second here. There we go. We're glad you're with us today. Let me know where you are. Oh, good morning from Palm Desert. Well, there's the birthday girl, Loretta Knowles. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. All right, there's David Knowles. Happy birthday to the family, to your bride. We're glad you're here from Idaho. I know, today's Loretta's birthday. We're celebrating. Yay. Arlen is here from San Clemente. Nice to see you, Arlen. Good to have you with us today. All right, people are checking in, and there's our 8:30. So let's gong ourselves in and see what we can see through the mist into the eternal and changeless reality, right? Okay, here we go. So we're going to take a big, deep breath in. We're going to let out the sound ah, like shalom. Shalom. This is either ah-om, right? So good morning from North Carolina, Mr. Grant. Good to see you this morning. All right, big, deep breath in. Relaxing the shoulders. And just remembering the sound of the gong is the idea that we are all creating a vibration in the law of the circle, and we want that vibration to be harmonious and contributing by means of our thoughts, words, and attitude. Good morning from South Carolina. Aloha from Hawaii, and good to see you this morning. Big deep breath in. And we're going to bring our energy up into our heart center. All right, nice to see you this morning. Remembering that I am what God is what I am, and I am one with the I am consciousness of each and every living soul on the planet. There is one life. That life is everywhere present and equally distributed, and we find ourselves immersed in it, a center in it, because we are a place of consciousness. And as our friend the quantum scientist says, the person who can say I am controls the motion of the atoms. What we're doing is we're going up a higher level in terms of law, in terms of understanding who we are as immortal spiritual beings, and how to use that spiritual presence in our lives, in us and as us and through us, in order to bring forth a greater degree of livingness, not only in your life, but again in the lives of everyone that we touch. And we do all of this because we are given this great gift of the I am conscious. Good morning from British Columbia, Canada. Nice to see you, Pam. Good to have you with us this morning. So here's what I want you to think about a little bit. We don't use our spirituality to be superior. We use our spirituality as the great equalizer. For everyone is born of the one, and that which makes a heart beat and a liver live and a kidney kid is the same life force in everybody. And what we do with that life force depends on our consciousness. The consciousness is the sum total of everything we've thought, said, done, felt, or given into the law, because we are all connected to the law of the circle or the law of mind. That law of the circle means that energy that comes from me returns to me as the multifaceted dimensions of my own experience. So how do we use this awareness in a time when there seems to be so much polarity in the world, in a time where the force of humankind is so great we could destroy the planet many times over, and yet we continue to flirt with violence and war and prejudice and egotism, instead of inviting that which is the law of harmony, heaven's first law, that which is seeking to give us over into a higher order of being. And this is what we seek to be while in the world, as the Master Teacher Jesus said, but I'm in the world but not of it. So we are in the world. So here's what I want you, if you've ever flown into an airport, if you fly into the airport and you look over the city, you'll see the lights going, you'll see the traffic, you'll see freeways, you'll see boats if you're over a coastal town or a lake town. You'll see all of this different activity of urban or suburban life as you're flying over, but you're having a very different experience as the one in the airplane looking down on it. I happen to be a boater, and I always find it's extraordinary how you can separate yourself from the land by just a 50 or 100 feet, and you are having a very different experience on the boat than the people just 100 feet away on the beach, right? It's a very different thing. And it doesn't make you better, it just means that you're looking at it from a different perspective. And that's what we want to do as light workers in the world. We want to be able to look into the world and look at it with a different perspective. Ken Wilber, one of the brilliant contemporary writers of our time and thinkers of our time, he says, if we have a different view of politics or religion or sexuality or any of the things that can separate us, Ken Wilber says this: the appropriate response is to feel not a gloating or a moral superiority, but a truly deep compassion. Indeed, compassion is the only judgmental attitude we're allowed, the only one. So the only way that we can support and make the circle bigger. Remember we talked that line the other day, he drew a circle that shut me out, heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle and took him in. That's Edwin Markham. So that's where we are. We are drawing a bigger circle, and we are looking to take in this bigger circle in compassion, so that when we see people at war, when we see people filled with hatred, when we see people actually condemning entire races of people or ways of being in people, we have to, the only appropriate response is to be compassionate and to know that the I am that I am is aware of a higher order of being, and to call that higher order of being into our lives. And the first, Judge Thomas Torr's line, heaven's first law is harmony, meaning the universe must be within for itself or something could rise up and destroy it. And eternity will not be destroyed, right? Eternity is energy. Energy and matter are equal and interchangeable and indestructible. The only thing we don't quite know about the movement between energy and matter is that slight disappearance of small amounts that we don't know where it went. But it's a closed system, and we will, because what we understand today in terms of immortal spiritual law, in terms of the supremacy of spirit over conditions, is but a pinhead of what we will understand. But we need to breathe it in, because our consciousness, it needs to expand into this higher order of being, to step away from all of the confusion and all of the separation and step into a higher order of being, and to sense it from all of the multidimensional aspects of our own being. And we do this again by prayer and meditation. As Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda said, never tell yourself you can't meditate. Everyone can meditate. You are the micro within the macro, and you belong to the macro, so you have a right to vibrate yourself in to the macro, which means we go beyond words, we go beyond comprehension, we go into an apprehension, an appreciation of the greatness of being that is the truth at the center of our being. And by focusing through our daily meditations on that amazing I am that I am, knowing that I hardly grasp it at all, but seeing, just as Meister Eckhart has said, seeing the soul gazing at the glory of God and asking the soul, what are you seeing? What do you see in the magnificence of the Most High? When my good friend Dr. Matt was getting ready to leave, we had these weekly meditations that we would enter into together. And in those meditations, I would simply, it was a guided meditation, I would simply be asking my soul, what do you see beyond the pain, beyond the separation, beyond what appears to be the disease? What is the truth? And can we feel it? Can we see it? Can my friend and I touch it together in you as one with the one? And most often we have to do this by closing our eyes, because it's greater than our eyes have yet seen, even though we have seen some glories, right? Some glorious sunsets, some skies. What about just last week when so many people were looking up and having the same experience of the cosmos at the same time, watching that incredible solar eclipse? And you could see, you could feel so much unity, seeing the marvelous of what that to be in the collective consciousness of what it is to be a human being, and to see humanity and the race make gradual steps towards seeing it more clearly, just as you and I must make daily the opportunity to look at all the things that create controversy, all the things that lead to unacceptable human behaviors. Humanity's inhumanity to itself is its biggest crime. And one of the great way showers of all times, very in the midst of being hit with that inhumanity, said, forgive them, they know not what they do. And it's not because we're greater than, it's because we see that we are much more than all of that. We are much more than violence and prejudice and separation. We are that which can see the glory of life in every culture, in every way of being, in every approach to the Most High. And if we feel that ours is somehow working better for us, then we simply have compassion for anyone's way of looking at life that is not helping them to grow forward in their life. And that's our only judgment. All I wish for you is that you grow forward, away from your fears and doubts, and into a deeper faith of being, into a greater joy of being alive, into everyone can look at the same thing at the same time on the same day and be united in it. We've seen glimpses of it. We saw it just last week in the world watching the solar eclipse, even though those in the path were watching it more acutely than we may be if we didn't get total darkness. But all of us were affected by the movement of the planets, just like the oceans are affected by the movement of the moon. So this is where, what does that mean in terms of faith? I love this line from the philosopher Ernest Holmes of the last century in one of his most popular little books called This Thing Called You. If we look to the future with uncertainty, then we must instead not look at the future with uncertainty, but what am I looking for? It focuses instead on the divine goodness and the loving kindness and the givingness of God to all of life. We begin to shift our focus not into our fears and doubts, but into our great appreciation of the goodness of life. And by doing that, we then must look for the goodness in our lives all the time. So Casper, we have this thing that we say about Casper. He thinks every day is the best day ever, right? This is the best day ever. These are the best lizards I've ever chased. This is the most fun ball circuit. This is the best walk we've ever been on. This is the best petting we've ever done. It doesn't matter. He thinks every moment is the greatest opportunity for another good. Now, you and I can put on that simple consciousness and recognize that every day, hey, Janine Burns, nice to see you. The Reverend Dr. Janine Burns is with us this morning from Long Island. So all of us are in this place where we can bring forth, because we see it, because we have left the shore and we are not in the fight on the shore, but we can see that the fight is unhealthy. We can see that the fight is not necessary. We can see that just 100 feet off the shore, we're beyond the waves and we are safe and at peace. You and I can enter into that consciousness where we step beyond the waves of the race consciousness and its confusion, and we contribute to that peace. We contribute to it because we draw in it in our lives in a new way. We contribute to it because we use all that we have learned to be a place. What's that line that says, don't walk into a room and accept the vibe. Walk into the room and change the vibe, right? Don't accept someone's unhappiness as their only path. Compassionately look and know the joy is just around the corner for that soul, and that something will guide them to get in touch with the link, right? And the link is, I am what God is, I am what source is, I am what energy is. Energy is what I am, and we are one and the same. And that which is the macro is not withholding from the micro. It is simply waiting for us to open our vibration up to a higher level, to then ride the spiral up, and from that higher level be able to see, oh, there's a place of peace even in the midst of chaos. There's a place of joy even in the midst of trauma. There's a place of profound rebirth even when we're looking at death, because death is simply the portal from one side to the next, and everyone goes through that portal. And the more we have faith in the I am that I am an immortal spiritual being, the more that my daily practice reminds me I am not simply a human suffering, I am a human being, and I belong to beingness itself. And by calling that into the world, by calling it into your world, into your circle, you're raising the vibration of all of those around you, even as if I be lifted up, all shall be drawn unto me, is what the Master said. And it's true. The I am that I am, if I rise up into my true and eternal nature, if I touch it on a daily basis, if I begin to look around my life in appreciation and in gratitude, and as the poster, thank you Candace for helping with the poster, as the poster said, and expect the next good thing. The next good thing is happening. You know, I lost my car in a flood, a car that I adored, and the universe provided, the doors opened, and I don't have that car anymore, but I opened my eyes to the next good thing, using the circumstance not to defeat me, but to say, praise God, no one drowned, no one got hurt, only the thing got damaged, and the thing came and it came to pass. As Ernest Holmes, the great metaphysician, says, you don't own anything. You can use everything. You can't keep land that's in your name. You can't keep money that's in your name. You can't keep collections that are in your name. They don't go with you. You come in naked, you go out naked. But you can use it all. And you can expect good and more good, because it is the Father, Mother's good pleasure. It is Source's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. But we must open to it. We must be the place that sees it and feels it and brings it in, and be the place where we are clarifying the consciousness and raising the race mind up, not condemning it, because we are one with it. And how many of us have not made a mistake? How many of us don't recognize our own flaws? How many of us know that we would like to do better? We would like to intune more. And that's it. Then do that. Then do that. If you'd like to be more in tune, adjust your practice. Daily we meditate, and daily we use spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, to impact the law that it returns to us multiplied with good and more good. And there is no limit to this good. And while it seems like a simple teaching, the practice and the change must come from within you. And as it comes within you, the law of the circle brings it back to you as the experience of that change. And so we are the place where this great, beautiful, great life experience, where the possibility, as Joseph Campbell, the great mythologist, said, the possibility is to tolerate your bliss and to allow that bliss to make a wave in race consciousness to help heal and uplift and inspire and bring forth more life. You are that people. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. We are a gathering of light workers all over the world who watch these videos, contribute our energy to them, and therefore raise our own consciousness and then raise the consciousness of those around us. It's simply a part of a practice of being alive in the world, and to bring forth what St. Ignatius suggested is God's favorite thing. The glory of God is a human being fully alive. Let each of us pull off the shores of discontent, pull off the shores of controversy, pull away from the shores of racism and violence and war, and become a place of peace in the world in a new way this week. If you found anything valuable in this video, we ask you to share it wherever you can, however you know how, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Let's do the work that we need to do, because the world needs you, and the world needs me, and the world needs us, and the world needs us to welcome everybody in to a deeper place of awareness, and therefore a higher place in the spiral of evolution, and a greater and more powerful contribution we can make in the world. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. We'll be back next week with Coffee with Casper. We trust you'll join us. We trust you'll invite somebody. In the meantime, until we meet again, who you are is something magnificent. We invite you to go in the light, as the light and with the light. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Bye for now. We'll see you next week. Okay, Cass, come on back up there. He just loves to be with you. He says, I want to share in all of this. Okay, we'll see you next week. Bye for now.